Hello, this is Betamax80. This time I'm not making a tech video. This one is a little bit more of a life commentary video. I should also add that the institution which this relates to, which I'm sure is going to be watching this video in some capacity, even though I'm now outside of their jurisdiction and they have no real right to reply, is not being blamed as an individual body, but part of a system which I think is currently flawed and needs review in this country. So the professional course that I have up until now been on, I am no longer on. I have dyspraxia. I said in a much earlier video that I do have some issues related to being able to perform certain parts of academic study, and that is the thing that I'm talking about. I don't like to make a song and dance about it, and I don't like to say it to the wrong people, because I find that people get scared of the word because it sounds awfully medical, when in actual fact it's more about me and how I get through life than it is about other people and how they talk to me. I just want to be talked to and treated like a normal individual. What's wrong with that? I am a normal individual. I sound like I'm about 12 years old, but that's just me, and I do get my hair highlighted, but that's a personal choice as well, and I'm socially inappropriate, and in my opinion I can do that because I've got dyspraxia and it's in the big long list of things that dyspraxia can cause. So I've decided I'm going to get a t-shirt printed that says socially inappropriate and not changing. So that's kind of my summary on life, really. However, what I really wanted to talk about, and the reason I wanted to make a video that wasn't a technical video about this, is that I feel that a series of events led to this situation. I think they were an avoidable series of events, but I think that they're an institutionalized series of events that are going to be very hard for any one person to change, certainly me. For one thing, there is lip service paid to support that's available through the funding bodies for universities. Sometimes this support is provided from within the university, but believe you me, there is a nice pot of outside funding which is paid for these additional services. It's not just a free-for-all, and it's not something universities do out of the goodness of their own heart. I should also add that as soon as I knew that I'd got a place at this particular institution, I made the application for the additional support, and I might add, for the poor first-time applicants to a course, it's a very slow process indeed, and it's a lot of head scratching and a big headache, because the path to actually requesting this support is not an easy one and not a well documented one. It is there, but it's not being made easy for you, let's put it that way. I know the pathway, I knew what to do, and I made my application for the additional support in July, knowing full well that the course started in September, and thinking I can't give any more notice than this, and I'm applying before the course starts. The support that I'm talking about can be physical items, what you'll call assets. It can be a computer with software and that kind of thing, or it can be about people. It can actually be access to additional study skills sessions and emotional support, what's termed as mentoring as well, but they don't come automatically. They're not something that a university just supplies. Oh no, absolutely not. No, these are paid for by additional funding, which has to be requested in addition to your normal student finance package. Anyway, I applied for this in July in good notice, but the powers that be within this funding body wouldn't even process my application before I had enrolled at the university. So despite applying in good time, hoping I may have a package of support in time for the course to start. That was a mythical thought process, because you can't even have your application for additional support considered until you've already had your first week at university, basically. Can you see the flaw in this plan? So you have to have been at university a week before you can even initiate the application process. Yes, exactly. My full package of support, and I'm going to talk about the actual human aspect of support that I was talking about here. The assets physical items package arrived around 6 months into the course. I don't know what I'd have done if I didn't have a computer at all for the first 6 months. It would have been a lot of late nights at the library, I think. No, the human side of support, the study skills funding, wasn't put in place until the following April, 8 months into the course. To put it another way, I had spent 2 semesters at university without a full package of additional support, and had 1 semester remaining of that year. That's how fast the funding body were to issue support. I don't know if I was low down a list of priorities or whether that's normal. I don't know. But I can tell you that it's not the first time I've experienced a very, very long delay in receiving a package of support. The previous time I applied for a package of support in studies, it took 11 months. So this is a huge leap forwards, but it's taken 2/3 of an academic year to put this in place. That was not a good help, let's put it that way. That was not a helpful addition to my course. It was yet another problem amongst my outside issues that was contributing to a big headache for me and a real struggle with academic work. To put it simply, that steamrollered, and the backlog and the delays that I'd created for myself in trying to complete the academic work kind of snowballed, to be honest with you, and the support was just too late. By that point, it was too late. Nonetheless, I did my very best. Some of my assignments were absolutely fine. Some of my assignments were legitimately knocked back because I had not answered the question in the appropriate way. I would take issue with the way in which academic essay questions are actually posed. I think it's unclear and slightly unfair that the piece of work which is handed out is not in itself a complete statement of requirements, but that attendance, well, more than attendance, I was attending, attendance at additional tutorials, let's say, is basically a requirement of completing the essay question. Why the complete question with its requirements cannot be stated in what's delivered over the online portal is a mystery to me. I'm sure someone knows why it's done. One of the questions, one of the assignments which was turned away as being inadequate, I do have issue with, because the assignment was regarding a matter of public interest. So that is to say that it's something that would be heavily discussed in the media, or my interpretation would extend further and would be something that should be discussed in the media, but perhaps isn't. That's how I read it, and I think that might have been my false move, because it wasn't one of the predefined but not written stated public interest matters which were acceptable for a discussion, and that's the reason that one of my assignments got turned down. Additionally, I worked extremely hard in what are known as placements, which is where you're actually in the workplace for a degree of your course and you're assessed in your workplace setting. I enjoyed them very much. The feedback I got was always positive. I did an extra placement during what would have been the summer, and I thought it was effective. I was always there in good time. I was always there with 100% interest. I was always there wanting to help where I could. However, through some situation I still don't fully understand, not all of my required achievements were signed off, and I already had outstanding academic work, see the early discussion, to complete after this summer placement. But in addition, I was left being expected to complete an appeal because I was half a mark away from having my placement work signed off. And it seemed like a small thing, but it was that one thing too many. It was that one headache too many. And the unfortunate situation is that I wasn't able to get funding for additional support this past semester because I haven't been receiving the student funding either, and it seems that the two go hand in hand. So I've pretty much been left to get on with things. I've employed a private tutor to try to take the place of the study skills support, which I'm not now receiving after having it for one term. And it wasn't enough. It was too little too late. The mythical examining board sat. I believe this is an internal board as part of the university. I don't think it's a external panel. So I would argue that things could have been done. Things could have maybe been reversed by the right people. But they weren't. And because I missed deadlines for these resubmissions, I have been sent a letter just in time for Christmas of a termination of studies, which means that's pretty much it for me. Curtains. I had a discussion with my head of course at her request just last week, and it was one of those discussions that I suppose is positive, in that a reference for future courses or future employment is being offered in a favourable manner, which I do appreciate. However, it feels like one of those meetings where things go, okay, bye, it's nice to see you, good luck with everything, bye. Yeah, you can turn everything off now, he's gone. You know the sort of meeting, because all of my access to university services seems to have been revoked already very swiftly. So I really am back at point zero. I'm obviously questioning where I go from here. I think this has finally put me off fully academic study and any thoughts of a degree permanently, really, at this time. I would like to see if there's any alternative that could work for me, maybe something that involves a more workplace oriented style of study that would take me to a higher level than a college level. That would be good. I would really like to work in healthcare or social care. My head of course even reiterated that she thought this was a great area for me to be in, and that I seemed the right kind of person to be working in this field. I'm also wondering about returning to IT and maybe becoming a little more qualified and slightly more up to date within the world of technology. Still interests me. I even juggle with the idea of teaching technology to in a rehabilitation setting, which I've been in myself, and I think is very valuable. So reskilling people who for whatever reason aren't able to carry on in their previous area of study or area of expertise, so need to reskill. That would interest me. I've got a real interest in people developing as individuals, and I hope that that comes through in my thoughts and my actions. But there's an update on where I am. I haven't named the institution at this point purposely. I don't know whether I will in the future, but I think this is something that happens throughout the system. I feel really frustrated by my own capabilities. I feel like people talk about Dyspraxia 1, me 0, and it feels like that. It really is an internal battle. I want to become university level qualified. I want to be a graduate, but something within me just doesn't have the capability to produce the kind of academic work which is expected from me, and which is marked and forms the majority of the degree qualification itself. So I'm left in a bit of a quandary, really. So that's where I am. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to produce anything uploadable, but I think that this does warrant an upload. So I hope that some of you can relate. If you have any thoughts or any ideas. I'm based in the northwest of England, that's all I'm really willing to say. And it'll be good to hear from you. Any thoughts, comments are much welcome. Thank you. Bye.